Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Simple C10. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about transport wheels and the SIMPLE.BORE kit that I just released. So we all love transport wheels, and they're one of the most budget-friendly ways to put steel 22s on our C10s. But the question I get a lot is, do they bolt just right up to my truck? And the answer to that is no. So on a factory C10, the middle hub of the drum brakes are usually around 3.5 inches, and on the transport wheels, they're around 3 inches. So that means we've got to do something to make these wheels fit. So you can get these transport wheels to fit a few different ways. The first way is if you upgrade to disc brakes on the front, then whenever you do that, the hub size is smaller on the new spindles. So the wheels will just bolt directly on to a front end that has disc brakes and drop spindles on there, or any upgraded spindle. To get the back, it's a whole different story though. You have to either change out the axles and get a smaller diameter axle, or you can use a spacer. All you really need is a 1/4 inch spacer to get the wheels to fit. But if you use a 1/4 inch spacer, you're gonna have to extend the studs on your wheels. That way you have enough thread for your lug nuts to bolt on tightly. One of the negatives about spacers is a lot of people think they're unsafe. I've ran them on a lot of different vehicles. I've never had any issues, but the main reason that I wanted to stop using them is because whenever you use spacers, it extends out the rear end a little bit further, makes the wheels and the tires out further, and that gets into your bedside. So you've got to cut out around where the wheel would be on your bedside, and then you've got to lose those brackets that hold your bedside into place, and that way it's not kind of flimsy. You've probably seen me do that on No Association. It ran spacers, but also had to cut into the bedside like on this video right here. To eliminate having to cut out your bedside, to eliminate having an unsafe spacer if you think it may be unsafe, really the only other option to get these wheels to fit in the back of your truck besides a spacer is to machine or bore out the wheels. A lot of people can take the wheels to a machine shop and they'll charge around $100 a wheel depending on what shop you use. But this is where SIMPLE.BORE got started. While we were building black dice, Zach and I come up with a design that would center a hole saw to allow us to cut out the middle section of a transport wheel. So the very first one that you saw in the video that I posted, that was our very first design, the one that we used on black dice, and it worked perfectly. So we thought, why can't we just make more of those and share it with others that might want to bore out the center of their wheels? So that's where it came from. You may be thinking, well, a machine shop's not that much more expensive than the SIMPLE.BORE kit. Why wouldn't I just go there and let a professional do it? And that's a great question. That's something I was really trying to decide if I was going to do this, if it's really even beneficial more than a machine shop. But this is the kicker. At a machine shop, you're going to pay $100 a wheel, and even if you just have to have the back two done, it's $200. That's a one-time thing. With this SIMPLE.BORE kit, you're going to get to keep this bracket, and as long as the hole saw lasts, you can do as many wheels as you can until you have to replace the hole saw. Whenever we designed this, we wanted to keep it simple. We just wanted a bracket that would center your hole saw, bolt in tightly, and something you could use over and over again. And Zach came up with a great idea of threading these metal brackets. That way you could replace this bolt if you happen to strip it out or anything. You can easily unbolt it, put a new bolt in there, and make it like brand new again. Let's break down this SIMPLE.BORE kit. The bracket is 3/16 inch steel. We've got grade 8 hardware, lug nuts, and grade 8 washers on there. And the washers are going to use to keep the hole saw off of the bracket. That way when you cut through the wheel, you're not cutting into your bracket. As you get close to getting through the wheel, and you'll see this later, I'll slow down as it cuts through it. That way we won't damage our bracket. The kit's also going to come with a 3 5/8 hole saw and a arbor. I've also decided to include one of these sanding cones that's going to go on your drill, because after you cut this hole, you could have a little bit of rough edges around the inside of your wheel. So you can hook this up to your drill, and then you can go around the edge of the wheel and make sure it's smooth. And of course, the most important thing is your 100 horsepower sticker. Just a reminder, every single one of these brackets are welded, cut everything in Zach's garage, and I assemble all those here at my house. So you are legit supporting small business. We're making this in our garage, packaging it in our house, and shipping it out in between times I pick up my son from daycare. So everything that you do to support us is greatly appreciated. You're supporting two guys and doing what they love to do, and we're just trying to help the community. Before I get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the support. I couldn't do Simple C10 without all the supporters and the community that's built around this thing. I really appreciate it. I know Zach does as well. Anyway, let's get to it. Got gloves. I've got my drill, 3/4 inch socket and ratchet, tape measure, and some of this lubricant for cutting. And I've got my bracket. I'm ready to go. If you're going to purchase this SIMPLE.BORE kit, I encourage you to buy this stuff as well. I'll put a link in the description, or possibly I might add this to an additional kit to include it because it's great. Whenever you get the hole saw, it's going to come with the hole saw and the arbor. All you're going to do is screw this in. After you get this screwed in, then you're going to screw this in. Line up the little pins in the bottom and just push it tight, and then that's it. Make sure your drill bit is on there tight, and you do that by the little Allen here. Some of these arbors may be different on different hole saws, but that's how you do it. I've got everything ready, and now what I'm going to do is unbolt the lug nuts from the bracket. We're going to leave the washers on there, and again, the washers are to keep the bracket off the bottom of the wheel a little bit. So when we're cutting through this, you're not going to cut up your bracket as you're trying to drill through it. So the washers allow a little bit of space there. You can enter it, kind of do this. Slide it in from the top like that. Put your lug nuts back on there. Again, these only need to be hand tightened. Get them both started because the lug nuts are going to center it the same way that a lug does. So it's going to help center a bracket. That's why I got the lug nuts on there, not just a regular nut. And we're just going to twist until we feel it tight. Just like that. There you go. We've got the bracket in there. Go ahead and put on your gloves and glasses. Safety first. This thing could spin and throw pieces of metal everywhere. We're going to go ahead and put lubricant all over the edge of the wheel where the cut is going to be. Just like that right there. And also go ahead and put a good squirt down where the drill bit is going to be, because this is a 1/4 inch opening. The drill bit's a 1/4 inch, and we made it tight that way the hole saw will stay centered. The most important thing right now before you start cutting, whenever we put that hole saw in there, we're going to start slow, and we're going to allow the drill time to cut through. Do not put pressure on there, and do not have it at extremely high RPMs. To cut metal, we actually want a good consistent RPM. If you get it going too fast, you will dull the hole saw very quickly. It doesn't matter if you have the best hole saw in the world, you will dull it in a second if you're going too fast. So please go slow, watch me. It's gonna seem like I'm going super fast because I'm about to speed this up, but slow, 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 cut it out, get it done right, don't ruin your hole saw. This is how it works. You've got the hole saw with the drill bit in the middle, and we're just gonna put that right in the center of that, and then we're going to cut this out. This acts as a center guide for the hole saw so you can get it perfectly center. Let's do this. As you can see, it really started to eat through there quickly. We want to go through and go ahead and lube that up again. We don't want this to get too hot and ruin the hole saw. So go ahead and fill that up and put another drop here. And I was not pushing down on this at all. I'm just letting the weight of the drill kind of do the cutting for me, just gravity. I'm just holding it in place. You can see that cut out super nicely. It cut through there really quick. It's a good hole saw. Now we're just going to remove this bracket. Now we just need to clean this up. So just to let you know, that took me 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I know I sped it up and everything, but this whole thing from bolting it in to cutting it out was 4 minutes. This hole saw made a amazing cut, but I want to come in with this sandpaper cone that's included in the kit and just kind of sand down the edges to make sure there's no rough metal. And at this time, if you've already painted your wheels, you'll want some kind of touch-up brush or something to make sure the centers of these aren't rusted. If you haven't painted your wheels yet, no worries. Whenever you get ready to paint your wheels, it will kind of go over that. If you're not going to paint your wheels for a while, maybe spray some primer or just some flat black on there for now to keep it from rusting after we sand it down. So this is actually a spare set of transports that I have, so I'm just going to take some flat black and go around the edges just a little bit to keep this from rusting. And here I am, I've got another set of transport wheels that are bored, ready to put on the back of a truck. That's a wrap. Hope y'all didn't get bored, but stay tuned for more videos. Wanted to say thank you again to everybody for watching. Click the link to my website up there. On the Beacon page, I've got step-by-step tutorials of how to bag your C10. It's also got a lot of featured links, links to the parts, links to the merch. Check it out. Boom. No association. Got a ton of these shirts. I plan on being at C10 Nationals and SETN this year in Nashville. Plan to have a booth there. First year with the booth. Come out and see me. Can't wait to see everybody there. Hopefully have Francis in the service truck there. Possibly Black Dice. Who knows? We'll see you soon. Peace.